Lynn from ChrisW Designs here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the Bodacious Bowler Bags. Throughout the video I'm showing the larger size, and the reason I chose the larger size is because it has the quick access phone pocket here at the top. Construction for the other two sizes is pretty much the same, and where it differs I will mention it as we work through the pattern. Construction in the Bodacious Bowler Bags is unique in that there's no hand sewing involved. It's not a drop-in lining. They're a fun sew. So let's get on with it and I'll show you how to do it. Once you've downloaded your pattern, I suggest you have a quick read through to get a basic overview of how your bag comes together. Once you've done that, go ahead and choose your size. I'm working on the larger size, as I mentioned in the introduction. Once you've chosen your size, then refer to your table of contents to work out what to print. I've printed my large size cutting chart. I like to use the cutting chart because it's really handy to check off as you work through your cutting. You know exactly where you're at. I'll just mention here too that the items in soft and stable, the body and the lower gusset are actually cut during preparation, so don't worry about those at this point. The cutting labels, I find them very handy to attach to my pieces as I cut, so I know exactly what's what when it comes time to assemble. With your pattern pieces you need to check that they're printing accurately, so go ahead and grab a ruler and check that. And if they're printing correctly, you're good to go. If not, a couple of things to look for is make sure that your printer settings are set to print at 100% or actual size. It could also say printing to scale or no scale or print scaling none. It should be something along those lines. If you're still having trouble with your printing after doing all of that, a couple of things to look for is don't print from an iPad. I find that they're very often inaccurate, so if you can print from a desktop or a laptop, that would be good. And also, don't print from a web browser, print from within Adobe Reader. If you haven't got Adobe Reader, it's a free download, so go ahead, Google that and download it. If you're using Windows 10, you need to make sure it's the latest version of Adobe Reader, because some of the older versions, they print inaccurately in Windows 10 as well. Once you're happy that your pattern pieces are printing to scale, then grab a paper scissors, not your dressmaking shears, and go ahead and cut out on the solid line. The dashed lines, they're just a guide for stitching, so don't worry about those. When cutting out your pattern pieces, fold your fabric in half so that you have an area to cut on the fold. Then pop your pattern piece onto the fabric. Note that when you are cutting the lining, you actually fold on that red line for your body piece and then place on the fold. But since we're doing the exterior, we use the outer line. Place it on the fold, pop on a paperweight to hold it down, and then trace around your pattern piece with a friction pen or a fading marker or a piece of chalk or whatever you have that will mark your fabric for you. Then I like to grab a pin just to hold the two layers together and then cut out your piece. For the other pieces which don't have pattern pieces, we've got your cutting chart or your cutting labels. They both got the measurements provided. You can either work from those measurements or those, but as you go, cut each one of these labels out and stick it to your work so that you know where you're at. You'll know what each piece is. With your cork, the pattern piece, it says like two reverse, so that means you've got to flip your piece over when you cut. That'll give you two like that and two like that. That's one for the front and one sets for the back, so that's important that you remember to do that. Once you have everything cut out, then we can progress onto our preparation steps. Let's do it. Once you have all your pattern pieces cut out, then you can go ahead and fuse your interfacing. Just lay that on top. and press into place. I like to keep my iron moving so that I don't end up with iron imprints on my work. And I also like to use steam. Once I've fused it on that side, I flip it over, give it a fuse from the right side. A heat press works very well as well. If you're lucky enough to have one of those, they're great. And if you check it and it's not peeling, then it's good to go. If you find it peeling anywhere, just go ahead and press those areas again. Once you've fused all your interfacing onto your corresponding fabric pieces, then grab your front pocket exterior piece. If you want to add embroidery, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, or after you have done so, then you fuse your fleece onto the backs, onto the exterior. So that's onto the wrong side of the exterior pocket piece. Then with your interior slip pockets, you need to press the seam allowances under on both side edges on both pieces. I like to glue mine down with the Elmer's washable school glue. It holds it nice and secure and flat and doesn't move around on me. For your interior zipper pocket pieces, you need to press the seam allowances under on the two bottom edges. You do that on the medium and on the large size, and also on the small if you intend to turn through the zipper pocket. If you're going to turn through the hole in your lining, then don't press those seam allowances under on the small size. I also glue those edges down with the Elmer's glue. Now retrieve your soft and stable and position the fabric, smooth it out, and proceed to pin in place. I like to pin in the direction that I'm going to be coming with my sewing machine, so if I sew around there, it's easy to pull the pins out. And just make sure that you keep that fabric nice and taut as you pin around your body piece. Once you have that all pinned in place, then go ahead and cut it out. A bit crooked there. Okay, once you have your two body pieces and your lower gusset attached to your soft and stable, then it's time to head to the machine and do our first bit of sewing. To attach your fabric to your soft and stable, I like to use a zigzag stitch. You can use a straight stitch, just stitch approximately 3 mils, 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then just go around the edge of your soft and stable and fabric. Once you're finished attaching your body to your soft and stable, just repeat the same process for your second body piece and for your lower gusset. The upper gussets are attached later on.